Hey everybody, Devin from Balaguer here, and I'm here with Maddie from the Callous Daoboys. Maddie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. On tour currently. We're in St. Louis. We're like on the last week of like a 6 week long tour, like full US. So yeah, but I'm good.
I just something about being on like the last week of tour that is the worst. Like you're excited to get home, but you're also like, just get me out of here.
Yeah, trust me, this is like not everything's cute and fun anymore. And so now all of us are like itching to go home, and we like drove through a bunch of crazy weather yesterday, and we were like, this is not getting fun now. Like,
Yeah,
but
something like that. The spring into summer, like the whole April showers, Mayflowers, whatever thing is real. And lately, it's like the weather has been crazy everywhere.
we like Kansas and Nebraska, and it was like a whole alley of like tornadoes and shit. We were like 10 miles away from a couple of them, and we were like driving fast down the interstate trying to outrun them. So that's that's what's been happening here. It was really crazy. I don't think I've ever come across tornadoes while we've been touring.
The last time actually we played St. Louis, like the night before we got into town, there was like a tornado like in St. Louis. We were like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
It's definitely one of those things that you're people don't talk about a lot. Touring is like you got to drive through some crazy shit sometimes.
they don't like prepare you for that. You learn how to play an instrument, and now I have to like know how to use the gears on a van or whatever. Like I don't like be prepared to like haul a trailer through up and down a mountain or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just
do that, do it in the snow and
yeah.
love that. We I remember one time we were on tour in Canada with Left Behind and I Am, and our van broke down. And it was a rental van, and we were like, "You guys got to come get this and get us a different van." And they couldn't bring it to where we were, so we had to like split our band up between I Am's van and Left Behind. And Left Behind didn't have a trailer, so they hauled our trailer, or maybe I Am had did that was what it was. I Am didn't have a trailer, so they hauled our trailer. And I was riding with them, and I don't remember where we were going, but I think they were pretty new to touring, and they were like going up a hill, and he's like, I got a downshift. And I was what? And I'm just like, you do that when you're going down a hill. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like putting my headphones in, and I'm like, I'm just gonna, we'll see what happens.
Sometimes you can't care. Sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if somebody else is driving, I have to be like, I can't overthink it, or else I'm just gonna be in the back giving myself a heart attack
The
every
amount of
time.
times I've been in the front seat when somebody else is driving, and I'm just like, just lay back and be like, I'm just not gonna look out the windows because I,
Yeah, can't.
so, um, who are you guys on tour with?
Well, currently, kind of it's a weird bill for us. We're kind of out on an emo like indie rock tour right now. We're doing direct support for this band called Arms Length. They're like a mostly Canadian band, and um, they're like closer to like emo indie rock kind of thing. They're really cool. We both of our bands put out our albums on the same day last year, and uh, so then when they like sent us the offer, we were like, yeah, that'd be really funny to like do that. But yeah, we're out with them. Another kind of like fifth wave emo pop punk band called Harrison Gordon, and then a newer like they're really young. They're called Super Sometimes. They're kind of like doing like a Blink 182 Southern California pop punk revival kind of thing.
Awesome.
They're really solid. It's been fun. We're like kind of the odd band out, but also like we have some songs sometimes, so it like gives us a chance to do those songs. And then on the next tour that we're going out with y'all, we're gonna like probably do a lot more like the heavier, really like crazy breakdown songs and whatnot. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
fun to pick a set list to.
I don't I obviously like I didn't forget that that tour was happening. Um, but I'm like, you guys are on the last week, and then you guys get to go home for a couple days and then start again.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
our tour is pretty short.
It'll be fun too. I'm excited. It's like it looks chill. We got like plenty of days off. I didn't think any of the drives looked crazy, so
Yeah, the drives aren't crazy. There's more days off than we'd like for 3 weeks, but there's also like, stuff with like the fests we're doing later in the year. They're
mhm.
like, there's so much like radius clause stuff with that where they're like, no, you need don't play here. And then other stuff we have going on where it's like you can't play this market. And because we were gonna do originally, you know, two different tours, like one the one we're doing, and then one like take a month off and then do another tour like West Coast and stuff, another like kind of 3 weeks or whatever. And it was like our agent was having a hell of a time like getting everything booked. He's like, everything I'm running into is like you're either playing in the middle of absolutely nowhere or you're running into like radius clause issues.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It worked out for us too. We're like, you know, I mean, it's cool. We're hitting some like different cities and like East Tennessee and shit like that and whatever on this
yeah,
one.
and for anybody not listening, or
But
anybody not listening, anybody listening that doesn't know what a radius clause is, when bands are touring and they have other tours or festivals lined up, sometimes those tours or festivals have rules, and one of those rules is a radius clause, which says you can't play within so many miles within so many days of the area that that show is in. So like the most standard thing is like 90 days, 90 miles or something like that. Sometimes it's further. For some bigger festivals, it's further. And the idea is they want you to bring people to the concert or to the fest, whatever. And if you're playing nearby by yourself and somebody was just going to come to see you, they're like, oh, well, I'll go see the band for $20 instead of going and paying this much for a festival. So they don't want you to do that. And if you do that, you get in trouble. And I don't like getting in trouble.
that's right.
So, um, with the new record, I don't want to see you in heaven. It's doing well. Everybody, it's been kind of unanimous, like good things being said about it. Um, how are y'all feeling about it?
Pretty good. I mean, we just celebrated the 1 year anniversary for it a couple of days ago, and um, it feels really good to like, you know, I don't know. We've been a band. This year makes 10 marks 10 years of being a band and whatnot, and like this record specifically is just really extra special. It was really just like another step up for us, and um, we also like when we started like really touring, like everybody coming back from COVID and everything, we had to change our lineup a little bit, and we put out an EP with that lineup, but it was really cool, and like that was all of us just making sure we all really like meshed, liked each other,
Yeah,
that and whatnot, and so doing like a full length and really getting like letting our drummer, our well, he's not really new at this point. He's been with us for 4 or 5 years at this point, but um, like really seeing like what our drummer Marty could do and like what Dan could do and everything. It was this one was really extra special. It was yeah, we're all like really proud of like the reception for it and everything, and definitely took some weird risks with some of the songs, and like there's one song on there that's like straight up like an easy core like pop punk song, and that was like the only one I was a little nervous about. But there's like a couple other choices that we were just kind of like, are people gonna like understand what we're doing? Is this a good idea? Um, and it's really cool to like kind of stretch ourselves like stylistically and like do some things that are even for us a little unexpected and still feel really like accepted and welcomed, and like that those are some people's favorite songs or whatever, you know?
yeah, and it's always cool. Like I love when bands take risks because it's like it is the whole saying of no risk, no reward is very true. Um, and I think um, when it comes to music, at least like in our kind of corner of, heavy alternative, whatever, um, it's calculated risk because I think if you get to a point as a band or as an artist where you're confident in your own tastes and like knowing like, okay, the stuff we're making, like I like what we're doing and I trust myself. And if I like it, I think the people that listen to us trust us enough to be like, okay, let's give this a chance, even if it's different. And it usually pays off. So it's always been like when we're writing stuff, I always kind of ask like, okay, like if we didn't write this, would I listen to it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like if I can answer that as yes, then we're on. Cool.
I mean, that should be the whole goal, is that it should be like making something that you want to sit and listen to, or like that you're like, it'd be cool if this kind of song existed, and then
Yeah.
something
It's
might happen.
that's what makes I think the most interesting music because it's, no matter how many bands influence you, like I've got a ton of, you know, influences that show through very heavy in what I do, but I try not to just be like, oh, this sounds like Crowbar or this
Yeah,
sounds like Metallica or whatever. Like, just no, I want that stuff to influence me, but I want to do something I haven't heard. I want to do something different. And then after I make something, I'm like, okay, we did that. I don't want to do that again.
yeah,
I want to do something different every time. And I think that's one of the cool things with y'all's band is just like you have so many things that you have your hands on that you're doing well. And
thanks.
of course, and
But
but a lot of bands can't do that. They have like this is the one thing we can do, and that's it. And I mean, look, you're getting away with you're doing a tour with like emo bands basically, and then you're turning around like a week after you get home and being like, all right, now we're gonna go do a bunch of heavy bands,
yeah,
and
that's straight
most
up.
bands can't do that. So
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I do feel grateful where the. I mean, truthfully, I think the doing the emo tour is a little bit of a fluke, which is why we wanted to hop on it, because
Yeah,
it's just us getting in front of um some people we like normally would not get to get in front of and whatnot. But yeah, I think we're getting to like fulfill a bunch of different desires for stuff that we want to do, both like in making the music and also getting the kind of shows that we want to play and stuff. So
yeah. I mean,
cool.
that's like one of the coolest parts about any of it. Like I love um just especially playing with bands you like when it comes to like, oh, we're doing this tour and it's something we maybe wouldn't normally do, but you're like, well, I like all this stuff, so yes. There's so many times we've done that where it's like this tour is probably going to suck, but we're going to do it because I want to play with these bands. And
Yeah,
that's, not it's not always that reason, but it's always like I at this point in like our career or whatever, I'm just kind of like I want to do the stuff we want to do. Like obviously there's stuff that as a band you get asked to do and you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, we have to do that. That would be stupid if we said no. But there's
yeah,
also stuff that it's like we're just going to do this because we want to do it. It's not going to make us any money or like be something that like changes our world, but like it'll be fun.
yeah, absolutely. We're
uh,
we're really excited to do this tour with y'all also coming up. I've always said for years that I was like, why did we ever get to do an occasion straight tour? I was like, we're getting cheated out of the metalcore like
no
come
we
up that we haven't gotten to do one yet. So I'm excited to cross this off the list.
it's definitely something that like I knew was going to happen at some point for a long time just because it's like y'all's name has come up. And like I will be perfectly honest when it comes to sometimes when a band gets brought up well like by somebody in the band like, oh, we should take this band out. There's usually somebody in the room who's like, oh, God, didn't happen. So that's like the number one sign, like, oh, it's gonna happen at some point. Because nobody is like begrudgingly agreeing.
Oh,
Um, and that also has less to do with like a band being good or bad and more to do with the fact that we're all old. And sometimes it's like there's times that there are bands where like I don't get what they're doing. Like it's they're successful and it's cool, and I'm like I just don't get it. But
yeah, these such cases. There's lots of
yeah, um,
instances.
I'm I would say that the that usually doesn't come from like me or Vincent. It's usually like usually Matt, our drummer. He Matt is a he's a producer as well as like every a bunch of you know he's in End and he's played on a bunch of records. But he we always joke that he only listens to bands that he records, and which isn't true, but it is like he's just working so much that like he's listening to like mixing stuff and it's just playing over and over, and it's like that's all you listen to is you know
Well, especially producers sometimes like the couple of ones that I've talked to that especially like do like this genre and whatnot. They're like, in my downtime, I'm not gonna put breakdown music.
no.
So like, I gotta do 8 hours a day listening to that. Like,
Well, I'm also like if I was a producer, if I have downtime, I'm not listening to music at all.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
really
yeah,
would be the stuff I'm working on because that would be awful. Like especially when they get into the part where they're like they've got one section that they're just looping over and over. End of the day, I'm like, all right, what do I want to listen to now? I'm like, no, I want to sit in silence.
yeah, absolutely. That's for like audio engineering stuff. Like even like the front of house people we bring with us and everything. I'm always like, I do not understand fully what y'all got going on. Like y'all got different ears than me, but
Yeah,
I
our
gotta call it.
Chris, our normal front of house guy, he's not going to be with us on this next tour because he's out with Between the Buried and Me right now. But
Oh,
I've
cool.
seen him in the past doing this thing where he's like when he's like testing the PA and like playing whatever sound guy songs they play, and he's
Mm.
like walking around going like seeing like how stuff is reflecting in the room, and I'm like, man, knock it off.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I swear sometimes it's like you're just messing with us. You're just seeing if one of us is going to say something and be like, stop.
Like they're doing important work.
Yeah, and really it is important as far as like it is. It's funny when I always laugh when bands like tell their sound guy after the show like, hey, like sounded great, and it's like you didn't hear what he was doing. You were on the stage.
Well, sometimes a good monitor mix is really important because sometimes they're, I don't know, we're not like fully on in ears and stuff like that. So I still like do old school wedge thing,
Yeah,
and those are different every single day, or like the room is different or whatever. And I don't know.
if you ever
First
get
of
the if you ever get the opportunity to get like on ears, it's life changing.
all, we're trying to get all of that put together, and hopefully in the next couple of months because it's starting to really like do a number on me even with earplugs or whatever. So
Yeah, like and I was the worst for the longest time. Like whenever before we switched to ears, um, I never wore earplugs. I couldn't. Like anytime I tried to, it was like I immediately like okay now I can't. It's all just like I just can't hear anything.
that makes me feel better because I on this tour started wearing earplugs more because there was a couple of rooms that were just like fucked up and I was like Carson, we have a new song that Carson's hitting, our vocalist is hitting this squeal on it that it started like if I put him in the monitor a little bit, it would like peak it. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I can't listen. Like I needed to start wearing earplugs. It was making me so mad the first couple of shows. And also, I heard a story recently of somebody uh, getting. It was like this. She's like an indie rock singer or something that like her eardrum blew out just from not. It was like a monitor like exploded on stage. It wasn't even like they were running anything. Like there was like a power shortage like in the room, and it made whatever monitor right in front of her just like and it blew out one of her fucking eardrums. I was like, I was like, okay,
That's
I'm
great.
having fun on stage anymore now. Like I'm having anxiety about this. So
Oh man. Yeah, when we switched, I was immediately like, what the hell have I been doing? Um, there was one show where we were having an issue with our computer, which was user error. Our other guitar player did something wrong. But our tracks were like glitching out in my ear, and I could
mhm.
still hear the click, but I was like, I like pulled one ear out so I could just hear what's on stage, and I was like, as soon as I pulled it out, I was like, what the hell? Because it was just so loud, and I was like, I can't believe I was doing that like every night for so long.
Yeah.
Um,
No, people preach about it, and it isn't good for you. But like I was so anti earplug for a
oh, I
while.
mean, I was too. I still am. We played. I did like the final Oceano show. Like the lineup from when I was in the band. We just did like that lineup to end the band, and
Yeah.
we they were never on ears, so we just did it like old school.
Mhm.
And again, end of the show, I was like, it was loud, but I was like, I can't wear earplugs because I can't hear anything, no matter what. Like people are gonna be like, oh, you got to try these, try these. I've tried every kind of earplug, and like they either do nothing at all or
Yeah.
it's like way too much.
Yeah. Trust me, I was getting very frustrated by that too because I was like, now I'm spending $50, $60 on an earplug that halfway through the set, like I couldn't hear the exact frequency that I wanted to hear. So then I'm taking it out and now I'm exposing my ear to it, a
Yeah,
really loud monitor that I cranked up to get over the earplug anyway. So,
right.
but
Plus
I'm just
the
going on it.
the coolest part about like when you start to run in ears is like being able to move anywhere on stage and it sounds the same.
Yeah.
And also like you gain some square footage on stage just because you're like, oh, we don't have monitors here now. And
Yeah.
um it's like I know you have a lot of people in your band. So
Yeah.
it's like having extra space, especially if you're like a support band where you have less space because of just backlines and whatever. It's nice to like be like, yeah, we could lose the monitors.
Yeah. Yeah. We're slowly getting our stuff together to get that all handled or
Yeah,
whatever.
it took us a long time. I don't want to say thankfully that COVID happened, but it was all during COVID we were building the whole rig.
Yeah.
Because of course it's always like, especially the first chunk of it is like we're going to be back at this real soon. Wrong. Um,
Yeah.
but we just did everything, and also when you do it, get molded ears. Um, the first like year or two we were doing it, I was using just like the universal Shure ones,
Hmm.
and they're fine. They get it done. But once I switched, I was like, again, I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? They're expensive, but it's like when we were playing with the normal ones, I kept like I'd have to like reseat
Take
them
your
constantly, and they get wet way easier. And now it's like I'm wearing them right now. They're just like
time.
go in.
Yeah.
And I always
Yeah.
make the joke with everybody else. I'm like, let me try yours, and they're like, stop. They're not gonna fit. And I'm just like, no, let me try. Maybe they will.
They're so yucky. Sometimes people have really waxy ears.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't actually gonna do it, but I was just gonna see if anybody was gonna let me do it.
Oh.
Also, okay, Neurosis shirt. Did you listen to the new Neurosis record?
Yes.
It's
And I love it. I thought it
it
was great.
might be my favorite thing that they've done. It's
Yeah.
if not my favorite, it's up there, very
I,
close.
I'm like, I want to sit with it a little bit more to make sure I'm not just like really stoked that they're back. Because like, I never got to see them like back in the day or whatever, like which truthfully was just on me for I don't know if I was just like in college or working too much or whatever those last couple of rounds that they were touring and whatnot. Because like A Sun That Never Sets is like the record that got me like into metal and heavy
Yeah,
music and stuff, and I love them. So I'm really stoked that they're back.
Yeah, and like Aaron Turner is one of my favorite musicians. So, and with somebody who a lot of their career they've just been, oh, it's obviously Neurosis is your biggest influence, and so seeing like that's the guy they got, I'm like, just perfect. And
Yeah,
when they
absolutely.
when they made the announcement, I didn't even watch the full video. I was just like, I immediately started texting people like, "Oh, they're like Neurosis is back." Like, didn't realize they dropped a record. Like, I I went to the gym. I was like, "All right, I'm gonna listen to the new," because in my head I'm like, they put out a new song, so I was gonna go listen to it, and I was like, just shocked because I'm like, "Oh, there's a whole record here."
Yeah.
Great, and that's all I listened to for like a week straight. Um, but very good. Also, speaking of the gym, you guys go to the gym on tour somewhat often.
We try to. So the other guitarist in our band, Dan, he like he has like an actual like competitive powerlifting background and whatnot, and he used to like personal train people a lot. And so like he's always been like, you need to get into weightlifting. And like at some point maybe last year, like second half of last year, I just got like really into it. And then the last couple of months, like Dan's kind of put me on to like some routines and whatnot. But our drummer Marty and our vocalist Carson also like all of us got really into it. And when you're on tour, it is very hard to like find the time, find anything convenient that's nearby or whatever. But um, we managed to go a handful of times that there's been like we've been lucky. There's been like a Planet Fitness walking distance, or like there's a pretty nice gym near one of the Disney World venues or whatever we were playing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We all got like really into lifting weights. Our friend of house Summer, she's also super into it too. So like we've been having fun doing that. Like
Well,
when we
I will definitely be joining on the
hell,
tour if there's a spot nearby. That was the problem I was running into. Like, there, Vincent works out every day,
mhm.
but he like brings like kettlebells and stuff, and he just does that. He doesn't like working out with other people. He doesn't like being around other people when he's doing that. He hates the gym, and I'm like, let's go, and he's like, no. Um,
It's kind of fun.
and
Like there's been a couple times we've gone and it'll be like four of us. And I'm like, I feel like we're like a bunch of teenage boys like hogging like the bench racks or whatever, like dapping each other up. Bench
as long as
75.
as long as you put the weights back when you're done, who cares?
Yeah.
I like have been getting in basically just like powerlifting,
Mhm.
um and accessory stuff to help that. Um trying to get as strong as possible because
Yeah.
especially like as we start to get older, I'm like I'm running out of time to do this.
Yeah, sure.
Um
So it like I felt really good about it. I want to do a competition one day, maybe in like a year or two when I like actually get like a little more downtime or whatever because it looks so fun. It looks really cool.
I like watching them. I don't know if I'd want to like compete because in my head I'm like I would never be able to lift enough. Like even even if I was like even if I was like winning, I'd be like I wish I lifted more. Like I know in my head the way like when I like if I want to be competitive with something, like I want to be the best. And I'm like, I know I see the people that are like the best, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. The
Wow.
because it is a lot of work, and also like the diet to get to those levels is just psychotic, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, help me along. And I was like, the second I look like I'm like maybe middle of the pack where I can go there, like, I don't need to win that badly. I just want to do it once just to like cross it off the bucket list. And I want to go and not fully embarrass myself. So it's like, oh, one day I'll cross it off. But I don't think I don't know. Seeing people that go to those competitions are freaks. And like,
There's
it does a lot to get there.
there's this guy that has popped up. I don't know if you've seen him. His name I don't remember his Instagram name is, but his name's Colton,
Uh
and
huh.
he he just deadlifted like in a competition like 1104 pounds, something like that, like with no straps. And for anybody who doesn't know anything about lifting weights, like there's straps to help like kind of make up for your grip strength, and most people are wearing them for weights way lower than 1100 pounds. Just picking it up off the ground is, that alone is ridiculous. But anyways, it working out, being able to do that stuff, it also helps with like the, I find like the mental aspect of touring and playing music and being like, oh, I'm getting in some sort of better shape, and it makes my live performance a bit better. I don't feel like I'm dying at the end of the set
Yeah.
as much. Um,
Any amount of like feeling like a slightly normal person on tour is like
yeah,
helpful. But yeah, we're gonna try to we're trying to like make it a habit to go more. But truthfully, we bring as few people as possible. So like we run our own merch, we drive ourselves. Dan and I like do all of the tour managing and everything. So like, you know, we what free time we have, we squeeze it in.
yeah, very awesome. For anybody listening, if you're in a band, do all of that yourself for as long as you can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Figure it out too. Don't let your stupid friend could be like, I'm coming to do merch. No.
your
Do
friend
your
will screw it up. Your friend will cost you money and
yeah.
lose you money. Um, I'm just thinking about a time we like, a friend of mine was working for us, and like we're getting like, it's like the last week of tour, and we're like, we barely have merch, and we're like, we find out we haven't put like a reorder in, and we're like, where, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, that we're not gonna have to come home with anything. And I was like, I don't care about that. I want to have stuff to sell. I'd rather have leftovers than nothing.
Well,
Um, so yeah, don't bring your friends. Do it yourself. Keep be in control of everything as much as you can, and learn how it all works, so that when you do hire people, if they're doing a bad job, you know that they're doing a bad job, and you can be like, hey, doing a bad job.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but yeah, I think that like the all of that like kind of work ethic stuff is important. It's as important as like just playing shows and getting used to doing that all the time. But like, oh, the side of touring where you're like dealing with like, you know, getting out of a merch cut, um, dealing with settling every night, and dealing with sometimes promoters don't want to pay you, and they try to like be, oh, can I wire you something tomorrow, and you're like, no.
No. Yeah, old school, you gotta walk them to the ATM.
Yeah, I thankfully have not had to do that in a long time. Well,
Yeah,
grant we I've since I joined the case string, we've had tour managers, but like had to do that in the past. Again, for the younger listeners, a thing that bands used to have to do pretty often, unfortunately. You'd play a show and you'd have a promoter who said, yeah, I'll give you guys $200. And you'd get like a contract saying they're going to pay you $200. And you're a small DIY touring band. You can't afford a lawyer. So when they decide to not pay you or try to leave the show, you have to go find that person and be like, hey, there's a big group of us and there's one of you, and we're going to take you to an ATM and you have to get money out to pay us. Um, and that's not fun to do because it makes you feel kind of mean, but you're also like, you said you were going to pay us. And the
yeah,
show, it's worse when the show would do well and they still try to get out of it. That's when you're just like, you're just being a scumbag.
yeah.
Um, we did have one guy. This will also show my age a little bit. We were like, you got to get us $200, and he's like, I don't have $200, and we made him give us his Xbox 360 so that we could take it to GameStop.
Good
um,
job.
but we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
thank God.
yeah, it's And I again, for the people listening, you maybe think that that sounds really harsh, but it's every band used to have to do that. Like there was a point where it's like there was always somebody in the band had to be the guy who's like, "Where's the money?
Yeah,
You
that's,
promised us $75 for gas."
that's so funny. I don't even, I think our first, like, before we, like, got an agent and started, like, actually touring, all of our shows, I don't think, like, someone would come over and give me, like, $60 at the end of the night, and I would be, like, surprised.
You're like,
Because
"What?
I didn't agree to it. I'd be like, you to book me at this bar on a Thursday in New Jersey or whatever, like, Facebook Messenger. I didn't think you'd actually give me anything.
Do you
Yeah.
so do you remember there being like a specific point from when you started playing shows to where you're like, "Oh, this is something. We're doing something here. This might be more than just having fun."
Like, I mean, I feel like from the very beginning, at least me and our vocalist Carson were kind of just delusional about we were playing local shows and we are like, Grammy's coming next week. Like, I don't think we ever had like a doubt in our minds that this wasn't gonna be like a thing. But I think there was like once we like got an agent and started doing like actual package touring, like when touring really picked back up again in like 2022, um, we definitely had some moments where we'd be like the one of three or four or whatever for like $100 a night, and I would know that like that's such a low slot. That's such a like amount of money that so many bands like cannot keep themselves afloat on.
Right.
Like, and I remember like doing those slots, and we still would like bring out people that I knew were serious about us, that like knew all the words to all the songs, that like, and even if it wasn't like a lot, it would just be like the people that have connected with this band are so like they've been so passionate about it that that's what makes me go like, even if it's not like a full stadium of people, it's the people that do care. They're just as passionate about it as we are.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. Even just the first like I think for years as like a local band and stuff, I dreamed of like us getting out there and getting to really tour. And the second that we were able to do it, and it felt like I was like, yeah, we can keep up, we can hack it, and that yeah, I think from and it's only grown from there, truthfully, and it's gotten you know both easier and harder in some ways, but
Yeah.
uh, we definitely got it down now. We've got like a really solid team of like you know the front of house people that we like to bring out with us and stuff, and all of us have like our little roles in the band that we do to keep everything rolling. So it's not just none of it like for basically none of us. It's just getting there and playing your instrument. You know what I mean? Like all of us have our little side jobs that kind of keep
Yeah,
it going.
it's great. Even like when, when you guys get bigger, which will happen, um, to where you have like, oh, somebody does, like we have a front of house person now, like what you do now. And we have a tour manager, and we have like a merch person who's dedicated to do that. Um, you'll have things like we all have like end of our set, like for changeover or whatever. Like we all have like it's my job to pull all the cabs in front of like the lights we have or whatever,
Yeah,
and get all the cables unplugged. Griffin's job is to like pull all those back to like our racks and like get those cleaned up so we can move. Not as when we're headlining, it's kind of like, take your time. But
yeah,
when you're doing the like there's a band playing after us, like we just did, Black Dahlia Murder. We want it's when we were younger, we always wanted to impress like the bands we are playing with by being like, let's be as efficient as possible
yeah.
getting off stage. And we still try to do that. Um, and sometimes
That,
you'll play with a band where they have like so much crap that they're like, and not to badmouth any bands. There's always a younger band that has like a full like in-ear rig and all kinds of like stuff like also on stage, and they're like, packing up cables on stage. And you're like, wheel it off, just get it out of here. Um, the band we were out just with, and they're super, super nice guys. Disembodied Tyrant.
Mhm.
Um, Also their guitar players are just shredders.
Yeah,
But their drummer has like giant like double bass kit with a huge drum rack. He's got like a gong bass drum thing,
that's crazy.
all this stuff. But it's like there was like a team that had to like come and help him get the thing off the stage. And it's like we can't do anything until these drums are gone. And
Yeah,
they worked as fast as they possibly could, but it was one of those things where I'm like, if you're doing support, you need to scale that down. Like I get that it's part of the show, but I'm like, we have a kick rack tom floor tom snare, like
yeah,
small setup. But it's like if I was a double like two bass drum band, if I'm support, we're not doing that.
yeah. I do think it's kind of like a you can only scale up as much as you have the actual manpower to like handle or
Right.
whatever. I don't know. I we've been out with the band where like they'll have like they'll do the too many cabs on stage thing or whatever, and I'm like, it needs to be like one cab per person. Get them off. Like,
Yeah, it's fun, but then you're like, you got to bring these in here, and then someone's got to help you get these off.
yeah, gotta think about it.
Yeah, you have all the time in the world to set up, but like when it's time to tear down, that's where you're like, oh wait, we got to do this in how long? I
Oh,
I went to it was like a year or two ago, like where I live in the middle of nowhere, and we rarely get shows, but like there was a like local metal show, and I went, and I felt like the meme of like the guy standing in the bleachers watching a football game, like with like the full like helmet and pads and everything on, like watching them do it wrong. Like drummer taking cymbals off on stage, and I'm like just getting angry, and I'm like, this isn't my show. I don't care. But I'm like watching it, like I also like
that's,
I wanted to go home, and I'm like, I felt bad because there were like probably 20 people at this show, and there were like a couple people were like, dude, I love the Acacia Strain. And I was like, I'm stuck here now. I can't
yeah,
leave because
yeah.
now,
When it's like people at the local show, if you leave now, it's like, oh, like,
yeah, because I don't want anyone to think I think they suck. I'm just like, I I want to go to bed.
yeah,
That's you'll find on tour the second we get done playing, Vincent is like, I'm going to sleep.
that's fair. I
Like,
I completely understand. I mean, at least in my camp, I'm the first person that goes to bed, but that's because I get up early and do a lot of the driving or whatever. But like, I don't get all these bands where they're gonna stay up doing coke and drinking and to the wee hours of the morning. I'm like, what do you mean? We're at work.
yeah, that is Matt, Mike, and Griffin in our band. They're all like they're not like partiers. They're just always like awake. And I'm like, what the hell's they sleep until noon, like
Yeah,
or whatever time load-in is. They'll like roll out of bed, and I'm like, I wake up. Usually I'm awake before anybody, especially like because I call home and like talk to my kid when they wake up, which is
oh,
5 a.m. California time. So 8 a.m. is like the latest I can sleep in, depending on where I'm at in the U.S.
yeah,
And I'll do that, and then sometimes just go back to bed after I call. But like even that, like I'll wake up, and sometimes I'll nap during the day. Um, just I can't sleep when that thing is we're in like a bandwagon, and it's just a box truck that
oh
they're
yeah,
putting bunks
yeah.
in. So yeah,
And,
you're just bouncing all over the place. And I'm like, we toured in a van forever,
yeah,
until like 2 years ago, maybe.
mm,
Um, and I could sleep in a van, no problem.
yeah,
And something about like, I think it's because like when the van's moving this way and I'm sleeping this way, it's fine. But when like the bandwagon's moving this way and I'm also laying this way, like I'm
yeah.
bouncing left and right instead of like moving like this, which is weird to me. But
they're so bouncy. We've been in RVs, like we rent, like privately rent RVs from people,
Yeah.
and truthfully, we set up all kinds of crazy situations for all of us to sleep around in these. But uh, yeah, it's a similar vibe sometimes, depending on where your sleeping situation is set up. If you're gonna get bounced out of your bunk or whatever if you hit a pothole.
Yeah. How do the RVs work out for you guys?
I like it. It is like a little bit of upkeep, but like truthfully, renting through like private RVs, they because we used to rent vans and then like get hotels and stuff, and um, these cost about the same as renting a van as most
Yeah.
rental van companies, and then we can sleep in it, which just saves time also because basically like me and Dan do all the driving, so like depending on what the route is or whatever, Dan will start the night drive and just pull off to a truck stop whenever he gets too tired. And then um, usually I'm up really early and I'll just check the route and see how much there is left to go and whatnot. And then I'll just pick up the drive and then Dan will sleep until load in or whatever. But it's there's pros and cons to it, but sometimes we'll stay at campsites and make like little bonfires and
Oh,
have a
that's
little
cool.
dinner, and that's nice. That's fun. But um, we're hoping maybe in the next year or two we can scale up and do the bandwagon thing or whatever. I mostly just am tired of driving all the time. But
Yeah. I that's driving is the thing I think I hated most about being on tour, and not having to do that now. I'm like, great, whatever. Because I used to like we all drove except for Vincent, and the only reason he used to love driving, but then he flipped the van over years ago, and after that couldn't like he would try, and he's just like, I can't do this. So it's like, yeah, sure,
yeah,
you've done your time. Let's
yeah.
we can all do it. But I would then start to like, because I hated driving so much, I would like plan out like in my head like, okay, everybody's shift will be this much, so that'll put me here when it's my turn to drive, and I'm like, okay, I'm mentally prepared to do that drive. I prefer to do night drives, but it's like your turn is when your turn is. And I'm like,
Mhm.
as long as I don't have to drive in New York City, I'm fine. But
I've lost years of my life from
yeah,
driving a car's vehicle in New York City. I think if I like turn up with like stomach ulcers or something, or like a brain aneurysm, it's because driving a big vehicle in New York City has like
yeah. It was always
get
whenever we would play there when we were doing like van and trailer, it was just like we are getting there as soon as we can. Like
yeah,
we're gonna get there overnight, and we're gonna park, and we're just gonna stay there.
yeah,
And I assume we're gonna get tickets, and we're just gonna deal with it.
yeah. There's no perfect way to do it. It's
No,
always trouble.
there was one time our old drummer like I don't remember which thing we were coming off of. Like we were coming from New Jersey, whichever. Like maybe it's like the Lincoln Tunnel, one of those tunnels. Like went through it, somehow got turned around, like trying to go where he took a wrong turn, and it made us go back, and like we had to go through again. And this is within like 5 minutes. And he tells the guy like, "Hey, we just came through here," and the guy was like, did not care. It was like, "Pay me," and
That's
I'm
so
like,
annoying.
but I'm sure it's like if he just lets us through, it's like he's gonna get in trouble. But I'm like, you do that with a trailer. It's like it was like $30, and it's like, no, give us another $30. I'm like, bastard.
Not let you have a break. One time we played in Brooklyn. We were opening for the Dillinger Escape Plan on those like reunion shows that they did.
Mhm.
Uh, they hired a backline company to like bring the backline to that theater or whatever. And that backline company was based in Manhattan, and they walked off with one of our like tele cases or something, and like we couldn't find it. And thankfully, I had an air tag in it, so like I was able to see it. And then I called them, and I'm like, "Hey, did you like take one of our cases?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I guess." And I'm like, I have to drive back into Manhattan for like an hour with a large vehicle to come get this. And then they're like, well, we're closing in like 20 minutes, so you better get here. like acting like I'm being a dickhead, and I was like, what?
You took my case.
My shit, and now like you're gonna add in like an hour of a headache for me when I could have easily just left out of that area through Brooklyn, and I was like, it made me so mad.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. AirTags save the day though. And any I have them in like every possible case.
Yeah, the I need to get more air tags. We I try to put them in everything because we go to Europe sometimes. And,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
they're super helpful. Like especially for flying when your bag like ends up somewhere else and they're like, we don't know where it is. I'm like, it's over here. I can tell you exactly where it is.
yeah,
There was a time my bag got delayed coming back home, and I was like, it was like my quad cortex and my guitars. And so as soon as I saw they were like getting loaded onto the next plane up from like San Francisco to where I live, which is like a 40-minute flight, um, I was like, okay, the plane is leaving now, so I'm gonna go up to the airport. And I'm like, the stuff is landed and I can see like the tags, like it's in like the room wherever they have like extra luggage. And I
yeah,
tell this guy like, yeah, I'm here to pick up my bags. It's, you know, here's my tags or whatever. And he goes and he's like in this room for like 5 minutes. And he comes out and he's like, I'm not seeing anything. What's telling you that they're here? And I'm like, my air tags. And I'm like, they're on the other side of that door. I'm telling you. And he's like, what are they? And I'm like, it's a black Pelican case, and it is a large inky case. It says inky on it. Both of them have my name all over them. And he comes out and he's like, these? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, huh? The system didn't tell us we had anything here. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It wouldn't.
yeah. So I can figure your shit out. Just
Yeah.
make it shit for everybody else.
Because our airport is just it's tiny. Like I walk out like onto the tarmac to like get on the plane there.
Oh
And
wow.
the person like when you go and like check your bags, the person who checks you in is also the person that is like out there with like the orange like glow stick things to like guide the plane. Um,
Oh,
we have like one gate basically, so it's a small operation. Everybody has multiple gigs there. I'm like, weren't you
it's,
just TSA? Now you're baggage handler. Okay. Um, but that is also the reason I still don't have like TSA pre-check because I'm like, I just the rest of my band like they all have it.
yeah,
And I'm like, I keep meaning to get it because when I fly home and I have to go leave from another airport, I'm like, ah, shit, this sucks. But
yeah,
when I'm leaving home, I'm like, just walk through.
yeah.
So you have a new guitar that is being built, and hopefully it'll be done soon.
I'm very anxious to get it, but I didn't want to be really annoying.
No, I trust me, it's never
Dude,
a bother like checking on stuff for people, but I think that's gonna be really cool when it's done. Um, how's the other your Aether holding up?
it's been good. It's I mean, it's a rock solid guitar. I love it. I just um it's I kind of don't want to play anything else like ever pretty much at this point, but um yeah, it's never given me a problem at all. It's always just like feels like it's part of my hands. I love that guitar so much. I get compliments on it all the time too because it looks
Awesome.
really cool.
It does look cool.
So, but yeah, I'm very excited about the new one though. I think it's gonna be so fun to have two fun pink guitars. Um,
Yes. And
I think
I
it'll be cool.
won't spoil it for anybody else like what it is, just because you'll see pictures when it's done. Um, for this tour, like what's the rig looking like these days?
We do kind of like a hybrid rig kind of thing. So, we run Kempers and then basically have like the cab turned off of it, and then we run into little just like power heads. I have like a orange pedal baby thing, and then I have a Marshall 4x12, like 1960A cab, I
Yeah.
think. I like the one with the slant on it, so that way it hits my ear, right? Um, but yeah, we run kind of like a hybrid rig like that. Recently started a partnership with Digitech, so
Oh,
which
cool.
like we've been using their stuff for years, but um, they recently sent us like a couple of like weird things and stuff, like some of their newer stuff that they got going on. Um, but yeah, I kept like a whammy on my board for years at this point, and then um, we keep Digitech ricochets on our board as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think throughout the set, depending on what songs we're playing in the set, I usually have to like change the function. I think I changed it 3 times on this set alone.
Yeah.
Uh, those pedals are they do so many cool things, and we have a lot of fun with those. We like a lot of weird, like momentary pitch shifting kind of things like that.
Yeah. Have you used the freak out?
No, I don't think I have. I think I've watched videos of that one
That
though.
that one's cool. We we both have them. I didn't have mine on the board recently, but Mike, he uses his, and like it's cool for like some some noise parts, but also like when there's like it gives you, you can, it like kind of makes feedback and you can have a little bit more control over it, so you can like play feedback kind of stuff. um it's a cool pedal. It does, like, I don't know what else we would use it for, but it's a cool weird Digitech pedal.
That's dope. Yeah, I think I've seen videos of that. I like the idea of controlled feedback because I think we kind of try to keep it reined in too much a little bit. And we used to be a lot more like a feedback on stage kind of band.
Yeah,
But
I was very much the same way. I don't think the whole time I was in my very first band, I never owned a noise gate. I was just like, oh yeah, I can, if I stand over here, it's not as bad. I'm like, no,
yeah,
idiot.
that's hope when you're like, no. It's like I'll stand in this position with my
Yeah.
amp.
Oh, I can. I just remember seeing a video of like Steve Vai when I was younger, where he's like, he's doing something where he's like playing with the feedback and moving like all around on stage to these different spots to like make it different. And I'm like, yeah, feedback's good.
Yeah,
No.
I mean it is awesome. I like when we were still a local band, I would keep a pedal board that was I'm not kidding like 10 different overdrive or distortion pedals because I think somebody like told me about the concept of gain staging like before I was smart enough to like understand how to apply that. And I was like, no, they can all go into each.
It's just noise.
Yeah, just
Love
being
it.
like as loud as possible. And like, I had like a really shitty amp back then too. So like, I don't even know what was coming out the other end of it. But yeah,
I
fun.
keep getting like fuzz and overdrive pedals and stuff. Like
Mm.
people, oh, do you want to try this? I'm like, yes, I do. Um, like I'm never gonna say no to a pedal, trying it. Um, but I'm
No, I
like,
mean,
should I just
fun.
put all these on a board, like just in a row, like all the fuzzes,
Yeah,
see what happens?
I mean, it's still fun. Truthfully, like we do the Kemper thing, just like to be practical and stuff like that and whatnot. But like, and I don't know, we like fly with them, and it's nice to just have everything
Yeah,
working with you and whatever. But it is fun to have a big stupid pedal board, a
yeah.
bunch of stuff you probably don't need. Like,
Me and Griffin are on Quad Cortex, and Mike is on Kemper, and we talk about all the time. Like the I miss being on like the real thing, because there is something about like standing in front of like a cab with a real, like, a real amp that's really just pushing air,
yeah,
that is like, everybody needs to experience it, like as a guitar player. Um, and again, like we use the quad cortex live, and it's an incredible device. But I have the capture I'm using live is a capture of a dual rectifier that Joe Balaguer
Mhm.
actually, like, he picked this rectifier up and he's like, "Oh, it sounds great," and he did capture and sent it to me, and I'm like, "This thing's great," and he's like, "Yeah, I got this head, and I got a great deal on it, so I'm just gonna sell it, but I wanted to get a capture." And I'm like, and so I ended up I have the head now because I'm like, I need it.
Yeah.
Because with Mesa is the thing I've kind of found over the years is like every rectifier I've played sounds different. And
Really
yeah, there's
not too closely, I guess, but that's
there
interesting.
so there's a bunch of different revisions of them. Um and each revision kind of has their own sound to it. But even from there, like from what I've learned, like a lot of the Mesa Boogie stuff, like they have like a tolerance acceptability thing of like tolerances within like 5%. So if like this part is like 5% similar to, or is within 5% similarity to a part that they used previously when that's maybe not available, they're like, that's still fine to use.
Uh,
Or like the values of some part is like, if this thing is reading this voltage and this, like, oh, I don't know amp stuff that much, but basically
mhm.
for every part, if every part is able to be within like 5% of each other, like the
Yeah.
from the schematic,
Mhm.
um that can make a huge difference over an entire amp.
Yeah.
So they're like Kyle Bull, who's another guy that like we work with and just love. He's got a video showing off like a couple like of this the exact same Mesa head where it's like this one sounds great, this one sounds fine, but it's like it's just a weird thing that with the older stuff, it's like when I if you find one that does the thing really well, I'm like I have to,
Yeah.
because I had one back in the day that I loved, and like
Mhm.
when I moved to California and I was getting rid of like a bunch, just making space, like I was like, I don't need it. And
Mhm.
then could not find one that sounded like that. Um,
Yeah.
and then this one was like, it did the thing that I was looking for. And I was like, I have to get it now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, if I pass on it, I'm not going to find one again for another 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all about like the practical, like modern rig.
Yeah.
Um, it's convenient. It's so much better than it used to be. I remember bands back when I started playing shows where you'd have somebody that's like running like a pod, like a Line 6 pod live in some way. And I'm like, what are you doing? This
Yeah.
sounds bad.
Yeah.
And of course, back then, everyone's like, it sounds just like the real thing. And everybody always says that with whatever the new thing is. We're
Mhm.
getting pretty close. It's pretty damn close now.
Yeah.
Um, in most scenarios, I can't tell. Like when it
Yeah.
comes to like in a live show, when you're out in the crowd, you can't tell once it's going through a PA. It's cool. But again, if we were like a massive, huge band that had like has full crew and has like a bunch of guitar techs and stuff, yeah, I'd be running every fun, cool amp. I'd have this
Sure.
whole rack with a bunch of different heads in it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
like there was a point in time a few years back where I was like, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do dual rectifier and a 5150.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a rack for everything. And then I was like, I gotta load that in.
Yeah. You gotta.
I gotta
You
load that
gotta.
in. I have to dial it in every day because like with tube amps too, like every room is different. And I'm like, I gotta get more feedback today. I gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
Gotta do upkeep on the amps. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that.
Yeah. It's a lot. I feel like we do lots of different just tone switches and like we also change tunings like a bunch of times live and whatnot. And like even if I really wanted, like even if all of us really wanted to do that, it would just like it would turn into now there's 4 or 5 amps for each of us on stage, like try to make it happen. So like the I mean, I'm thankful, I guess, that the technology has come far enough that it still sounds really sick to do like kind of a hybrid rig thing that we're doing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of rig stuff, I just it just popped into my head something I don't know anything about. You have a violin player.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what this is complete ignorance on my part. What does an electric violin like plug into?
We run. Oh my God, I'm blanking on this right now. Carson, what's Amber's pedal?
It's a line six helix.
It's a we have Amber running into a line 6 helix, and it's basically like kind of doing the Kemper quad thing, but like just a little bit more condensed down.
Yeah.
But like yeah, build a bunch of different like profiles on that, and then that just runs DI into the house. But um, yeah, it's like because we use it pretty unconventionally too, like lots of different um effects on it, doing different kinds of stuff with it. Like sometimes there's effects on it that sound like maybe closer to like a synth or something like that.
Yeah.
And then in like early days, I think we use it a lot to like 'cause we love we're very much like a panic chord kind of band. So like that was like a really fun like accent to like us doing panic chords and stuff like that in our music. But um yeah, that was just it's another cool element of something that adds to our music. But yeah.
That's really cool. I was yeah, for a second I was like, wait a second, like I don't think they make like violin amps. And
No,
I'm
I
like,
mean
so I'm like, in my head, I was like, do they plug? Does that like just go into a normal amp?
I think
And
for a minute, like years and years ago, I think we used to run it literally into like a line 6 spider or whatever. Like,
insane mode.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, but you could like Carson figured out how to build really good like presets on that and whatnot. So we like had one, but that was like forever ago, and then we kind of figured out doing the line 6 helix thing and whatnot, and that's been what we've been cruising with for that. But yeah.
And there's a lots of cool sounds in y'all's music. Lots of horns and
Yeah,
saxophone and all of that.
yeah, we kind of have like a secret seventh member that's a saxophonist. Our friend Rich has played.
I think Rich and I follow each other.
Yeah, yeah, he's great, and he does really like, especially if you go on his Instagram, he does like he runs a really cool like pedal board with his sax and stuff like that, and like is all over the place doing some really funky shit.
Is he on the sax effects?
No, what's that?
I
Is
just
it?
made it, I just made it up.
Oh, I get it. Like Axe Effects.
Yes.
My phone's falling right now. All of it.
We were in Australia and there was a band that was playing that they had a saxophone player who was running his stuff like into an Axe Effects, and like there was a point like at some point in the show like it was just an Axe Effects by itself sitting on a cab, and he like had set his saxophone on it, and I like had to take the picture, and I was like, sax effects.
Awesome.
Just it's like weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I big fan of just adding whatever sounds you can into a band. Like Randy, who's like our producer, but he's also like essentially like the sixth member of our band.
Mhm.
When we're writing and stuff, and he'll add like so much like Fender Rhodes like piano stuff and things that like there's some of the like the low F stuff we do. Um, there's stuff where he's just hitting like the F on the Fender Rhodes and
Uh-huh.
running that through a bunch of pedals, so it's adding this extra just like solid F just throughout everything, and like to the listener, like it just blends with the guitar stuff. So like the guitar tone's crazy. I'm like, well, part of it is piano. Part of it is
Yeah.
electric Fender piano.
Oh, don't give away the secrets. You can't-
Well, see, the thing is, the Fender Rhodes is like I want one, but they're expensive. So it's like go go ahead and Go spend thousands of dollars on a stupid piano and
Yeah.
then figure out how because that's the thing, is like he can sit everything in front of me and like, here's what I use, and like I have no idea what any of this does.
Yeah.
Um this way he like has all these pedals going and running. There's so many things. Every time we record, I'm like like, oh, I gotta get this pedal now. What is that? It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There's a like a signal blender pedal that he has from somebody that like basically it's a way to like kind of sidechain a bunch of different effects and like take certain elements of each thing. It's really cool, but it's like really made some psycho sounding stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's half the fun. Sometimes getting on the floor and just like hitting a bunch of buttons.
Yeah, it's great. And it's like my like I said before, like I'm a huge fan of fuzz. Like this cheap piece of crap pedal is like my favorite fuzz pedal.
Oh,
Like,
awesome.
it yeah, it's like an identical clone like sonically to the like hyper fuzz that Boss made, but it's I think I got this on like Black Friday one year from Sweetwater for like $14, and
Yeah.
it just like it does the thing you want it to do like perfectly.
Yeah.
And it like inspired me to write stuff, which is like if a pedal can do that, then I'm like, cool, it's a good pedal.
Yeah.
Because I for me like that's when I write, I focus on like a finding a cool sound, and like if a pedal will get me there, it'll inspire some riff, and I'm like, cool, I wouldn't have done this without this pedal.
Yeah. Awesome.
So like, what is the whole like writing process with you guys like?
I mean, it is. It's rooted a lot with our vocalist Carson. He's like main mind behind all of it, and then the rest of us kind of come in after and like either add on to the ideas or kind of like trim the songs down from there or whatever. Um, but yeah, Carson's
Awesome.
the main. He taught me how to play guitar and everything, so
Oh,
we can.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, but yeah, and we all kind of just work to serve the greater idea of this, if that makes sense. Yeah.
What are I mean? You're gonna have a couple days off after this tour before. So what are you guys just gonna go home and relax for a little bit?
Probably, maybe. I might go. Me and Dan might go to the beach or something because uh, I got to help him do something with delivering this vehicle back to Florida, and that's where he lives. And I'm like, well, if I'm gonna go to Florida, then I want to go to the beach anyway. But we'll see if that happens. We might not have any downtime between this one and the next one, or I might just want to sit at home. But
Either sound cool, but I know y'all are on tour, and I know how the days on tour are after sound check. You have so much time to like get something to eat and do all that. So I won't keep you any longer. Um,
yeah,
I hope you have a great last week of tour. Hope the show tonight goes well, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
hell yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited for this
All right.
tour.
Well,
Oh
I'll see you later.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate
Take care.
it. Thank you.